I'm hearing from you that you think that somehow the left and the right, nah, they both hate equally. Both of them want to intern people. Both of them believe that some people don't deserve rights. And I want
obviously bullshit.
I want to play this because this was a very awkward moment.
Franny,
I'm a stand-up comedian.
That are wrong.
No,
Bernie agrees with my positions 100%.
Wait,
so
who?
What you described?
No, he doesn't.
About Bernie is exactly me, and so that's why I'm like, what Bernie has the same positions as me, the same idea, the same framing. In fact, he's agreed with Elon Musk on cutting the Pentagon in the exact same way that I have.
Like, a broken clock is right twice a day. You can't hold a position that no MAGA people hold. There are even MAGA people out there that are pro-immigration. There are MAGA people out there that are, I don't know, hell, there are people that want to fix the country that are opposed to Trump even, who are otherwise very far right. Of course, you're going to agree with some things that these people espouse. There's no way around that. It's not what's being said.
And yet Bernie's an angel and I'm the devil. Like, that's crazy.
No one's saying that you're the devil.
That's crazy.
Bernie actually builds. He's not making the rounds. He's not making the rounds and not pushing back. He's not pushing back.
Yeah, the problem is he's not pushing back. Not that he's making the rounds. Not that he's going on Charlie Kirk's TPUSA and stuff. It's that he's not pushing back. He's agreeing with them and stuff.
An op-ed in Fox News today. He makes the rounds exactly like I do.
That's
exactly like I do.
Good. No, I think that's important. But honestly, Cenk, file your nails or something, because this was not good. This was not a good look during that conference.
I want to ask you guys something. Do you believe that trans Americans should have the same constitutional rights as all Americans to employment, health care, and housing? Constitutional rights.
No, the answer is no. I mean, you can hear it there. I don't know if you can tell, but they're saying no, basically. Those are boos. And even Charlie Kirk recognizes that and wants to step in and explain.
Okay, Cenk, I'm a stand-up comic, so I listen to crowds regularly.
I didn't know she's a stand-up comic. That's cool.
Know when they are booing, groaning, or in this case, there is a whistle of disapproval, and I know when they are cheering. Now, let's play it again. They're not on board with trans people having the same constitutional rights.
I want to ask you guys something. Do you believe that trans Americans should have the same constitutional rights as all Americans to employment, health care, and housing? Constitutional rights.
Do you want me to translate?
You got maybe like a sixth of the audience. There's a couple people clapping very, very. No, okay. And then
Randy, let's break it down.
This is the best. Wait, this is the best part. You got to keep watching because it's the best. That not only you get hung out to dry on this, can we all agree, shtick that you're on, and they don't meet you, and then Charlie meets you with this
constitutional right to housing. Well, there is no constitutional right to housing.
So then he goes wait a minute, not only don't I not agree with you on the trans people, because he never answered it. He's like, actually, fuck your right to housing anyway. And I know that's not even what the Constitution says. It's just equal protection around housing, right? It doesn't say you have a right to housing. I wish it did. But it's just amazing to me. Do you see? And you look at him and there's a moment you're just kind of there's just this moment and it's just what are we doing, Jay?
That's good. I love that.
What's going on here?
See, this is a great example. You're being so unbelievably unfair about that interaction.
Are you shitting me right now?
Mm-hmm.
The reason I did that, Franny, and I knew I was taking a big risk.
You were.
Is because I wanted to try to get some of them because I've done it on other right-wing shows and it worked really well. It didn't work really well this time. That's why it was a risk. But I challenged them on how trans people are like every American and they should have constitutional rights.
Well, let's watch a little bit. Let's watch whether you did it. Let's watch whether you did it. Did you do it or not?
Let me finish, Franny.
Did you do it or not?
Important, and you're totally smearing me on a thing that is crazy.
I'm playing you the clip. I'm not smearing you. I'm literally playing the clip. Cenk, I'm playing the clip.
Will you let me talk? I said I had the courage to challenge them on constitutional rights for trans people. You asked me to have the courage to challenge them. I did, and now you're attacking me for it.
No, I'm not. I'm not attacking. I'm not attacking you for it. I'm saying you have characterized this.
Look at this. They didn't agree with you.
No.
Wow, dude, he is mad.
I'm saying
you're trying to get them to agree to constitutional rights. That's exactly what we should do. We should say trans people are just like every American citizens, and they should have constitutional rights. I go and have the courage to challenge that audience to that, and then you want to make fun of it? Like
I'm saying
I agree with you. What do you want? Do you want me to challenge them, or do you not want me to challenge them? Make up your mind.
It was a big swing. You agreed that it was a little bit of a miss. And I think,
by the way, you're not exactly right about that either. So I was in the room.
Oh my God, dude. She's not going to get a word in edgewise, is she? I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Okay, let's continue.
2/3 of them cheered. 1/3 of them clearly did not. And groaned and cheered.
The people who were cheering were not mic'd properly. I understand.
That's funny. Wow. Sick burn.
Look, it was a swing. It's good you asked, but I didn't think that you really had like a save for that, because I think you were like, you actually gave them credit for the few people that agreed. And meanwhile, Cenk, you have so much disdain for our side.
Yeah, that's one of the big issues. He has disdain for the left. Like, he won't stop talking about how much the left sucks. What do you expect people to think when you do this?
If I say, hey, I believe trans people should play in sports, you have so much disdain. You get so mad. But here you are, and here is what you say.
Constitutional right to housing.
Okay, so I hear you. What I got out of that, guys...
I'm just trying to be the interpreter.
Yeah. No, there was a lot of applause and there was some consternation, right? I'll take it. It's a start. It's a start. So guys, when we can even disagree about what's constitutional, Second Amendment, housing, etc. But just let's treat everyone as Americans. And I say that to the right and I say it to the left.
For sure.
Okay, so
he says for sure. For sure. No, not for sure. He does not believe that. Come on. How gullible are these people, really?
When's the last time they heard that message? Never.
Thank you for, you don't know. I guess thank you, but you have so much grace for people who really were groaning and not on board with what you said.
When did I say I have grace for them?
I mean, no, you said it right there. You said, hey, I'll take it. And it was like, this is what we got to do.
The room said, yay, trans constitutional rights. When's the last time 2/3 of AmFest cheered?
Okay, he's playing that up a little bit, but all right.
Why do you not extend the same grace to so-called radical leftists?
I'm really glad we're back to this, Franny, because this is important. And we mentioned in the beginning, and I wanted to come back to it. Mm-hmm. So having grace for the left, I run the network, and everybody gets to have their own opinion. Everybody gets to fight me. Everybody gets to state their own opinion without any editorial control. First of all,
you do go ballistic on them like you went ballistic on me earlier.
Yeah,
you do get, and you you always say you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Yeah, you want me to do that?
Yeah, he's doing the exact thing that he accuses others of doing. And look, like I said, there's some subset of little nutcases out there on the internet that'll follow people around and call their family and tell them that they're pieces of shit or whatever. They're out there, absolutely, and it's bigger than it should be. But this is a problem that is not exclusive to the left, and that is not every person on the left. This is just internet nutcases, okay? My God.
Get animated, that's right.
You're wrong. You're
and he's blaming the left for it. This is a problem. It's not the left's problem, though, is the issue.
You're wrong. We can do it. We know what you do when you disagree. It's not. It's not. I'll take it.
Hold on.
I'll
this
take
is super important for the audience to know. But so we fight, right? When we disagree, I say you're wrong. You say I'm wrong. But is there any consequences afterwards? Do I then threaten your job? Do I take people off the air?
I mean, I barely have a job with y'all. But look. First of all, we rarely ever.
I don't know what they do what TYT does for her. Like, I know TYT is like they purport to be a network, but when I think network, I think like MCN. MCNs are scams. They take 15% of your revenue right off the top and mail you a check for what you are owed. They're not supposed to take a portion of the super chats though, only ad revenue. And Ethan Klein, for example, discovered that his MCN, BBC or something, I don't remember the name, BVT, I don't know. Anyway, they were taking a portion of even the super chats. So networks just take your money, and what do they offer? They claim that they have a direct line to YouTube, that they have a representative that contacts YouTube on your behalf. It's not true. They don't. You have, as a creator, you have more access to YouTube than an MCN does. So I don't know what MCNs offer people, like what networks offer people at all. I'm still just completely in the dark on it. Sometimes they offer you like special analytics or suggestions or data or whatever to like improve your performance of your channel. This is all shit that I can get from like an automated system. I don't need to give somebody 15% of my revenue to tell me this stuff. Are they an MCN? Are they taking 15% of her revenue? I don't know. And for what? I don't know what TYT does for them. Being on a network that pumps out content could lead to a bigger audience. That's about it. I've heard that. I have heard that. But it's not true. Doesn't work that way. Can you guys name everybody that's in the TYT network? Or can you name like 5 shows that you have never watched before that are in the TYT network? I can't. I didn't even know she was in it until just now. I'm trying to think that you've never watched because you wouldn't have known about them necessarily if not through TYT. If you came to it organically, then, you know, it doesn't count toward this statistic. I can now because they fired everyone at Rebel HQ. Did they? Holy shit, dude. Oh, yeah, not to mention like all that union busting that TYT did. You guys remember that? They were trying to prevent a union from forming? I am. Your mods are just protecting your side, huh? Oh, come on, please. Catholic Uncle Tom. Nice name, by the way. Mods are protecting my side, huh? I'm looking through, and no, you're not, because I'm not seeing... No, you didn't post any messages that have been deleted. I can see all the deleted messages. You didn't post a single message that's been deleted. Not one. So no, you're not. Just looking through. Last deleted messages from Dr. Mengele. Consent be damned. Wow, that is one hot take right there. Thank you, Dr. Mengele, for that one. Yeah, no, you're not Catholic Uncle Tom. Feel free. Mods, let him say something. Go ahead. Tell me. I will read it. Lay it on me. Anyway, mods are doing great. They absolutely are. They're doing a fantastic job, as always. Give me the name of some... What are we supposedly deleting? You're deleting Uncle Tom's messages where he's telling us about TYT shows that he watches that he got through TYT. The point is that networks do not increase an audience or they don't increase visibility or whatever, almost at all, if at all. As a public influencer, I say that with confidence.
Back to what I'm saying, Cenk. Who's your main co-host?
Anna, yeah, on the Young Turks.
When you say
know there's like over 24 Young Turks contributors and hosts.
I know, I understand that.
So okay, but Franny,
I'm trying to tell you that there is in fact, Cenk, let's just be real. We said this privately. I'll say it publicly now. About a year ago, around the time of the trans stuff, and the trans sports stuff, you said to me, "Hey, Francesca, just so you know." And I don't think it's not a secret, but you didn't tell the audience. But it was like, hey, just so you know, like TYT main show is kind of like mainstream progressives. Like that's sort of what we want to be. And, you know, we're more mainstream, just so you know, we're like moderate progressives kind of thing. And I was like, okay. And then I said to you, why don't we have a debate? Like, why don't you bring John and I on? We debate, you and Ann.
John Iderola, I think. Is that his name? He used to be on the main TYT show. I don't know if he is, maybe. I used to watch TYT a little bit. Every now and then their clips would pop up and I would watch through it. But they had some real stupid takes a while back and I just stopped. For example, they got bent out of shape Anna and Cenk specifically, because they believe that the conspiracy theorists claiming that COVID came out of a Wuhan lab, they believe that they were correct all along. So anyway, yeah, you're just incorrect about that one. That was one of their first takes that I was like, what is going on here? This is just stupid. Because I don't watch them. I mean, I know they had even more stupid ones before that. I just don't watch them enough to know.
Anna, we could talk about trans issues. We could talk about, crime. We could talk about all the things that always, get under our skirts. Like, we could talk about that stuff. And that was like, you didn't seem that very excited about that.
Franny, that is a crazy standard. So first of all,
no, I'm just being honest, just to say, we've never had that space.
Can I answer? Okay.
Are you mad someone's talking too much? Is Cenk Huger mad someone else is talking too much?
So when do I get animated? When people cut me off. That's what drives me crazy.
Okay. Well, welcome to the internet. First time?
So now, the thing that you just said that was our private conversation, I literally said at the very beginning of this broadcast. Okay. So I said populist establishment is one spectrum, and we're on the extreme end of populism. Left-right spectrum is different, and we're not on the extreme of the left. I said we're kind of in the middle, not the moderate BS that the mainstream media does, right? Oh, Joe Manchin is moderate. No, he's not. Joe Biden and Mitch McConnell are moderate. No, they're not. They're radical corporatists.
Interesting. Joe Biden and Mitch McConnell, he said, are moderate? Or Joe Biden and Manchin are moderate? I mean, sure, they are in favor of corporations and work with them and stuff, but they are moderate in other ways. They're not just corporate, they don't just work with corporations. And in fact, Biden's been opposed to a lot of corporate involvement. He has not gone with what the corporations wanted a few times this time around, in his campaign, or I'm sorry, in his administration. So it's not just about corporations.
Okay. They perverted the word. Okay. So, but am I in the center of the left? Yes, I'm in the center of the left. And so is Anna. So
in the center of the left, you mean you're on the left? And the answer is no, you're not. They're taking right-wing positions, both of them, both Anna and Cenk. And you know what's weird? I don't watch TYT, so I don't know if this is the case or what, but just from the outside looking in, it has appeared as though Cenk follows Anna wherever she goes. I remember them arguing about fascism. What is fascism? Is Trump a fascist? Anna says, no, Trump is not a fascist. Incorrectly, of course. And Cenk argued with her about that. And within just a week or two of that, Cenk starts moving to the right along with Anna. He has a loyalty thing where he is loyal to a person to the death, it seems like. And I feel like he's just making this rightward shift out of loyalty. I don't know.
People catch feelings over that, but the polling shows it, elections show it, everything shows we're in the center of the left. And I'm proud to be there. I don't want to be on the far left.
I don't think...
But I don't block anyone.
Dude, I thought he used to say that he's on the far left. Isn't that his whole bit? That he says he's far left and no one else is a true leftist or something? Am I wrong? Maybe I don't watch them enough.
For being on the far left. And we've had thousands of conversations. And the reason why I'm saying your standard is unfair is you're saying you and John were not involved in those debates, but I've had those debates on air and I'll have more. I don't care. I'm not shy about it at all. Do I look shy about debating or discussing? So if you want to have another one on the Young Turks, me and you at the 5 o'clock hour or whatever it might be, because 3 to 5, so I'm saying Pacific time. Everybody knows Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, we do the show. And that's
everybody doesn't know that, but okay.
The news show. So we go through the news items, right? But now sometimes what we're doing is at 5 o'clock, we're having guests on for longer conversations. So if more progressives that are on the just as populist as us or somewhere else on the populist spectrum, but to the left of us on that spectrum want to come on, great. I believe in my opinions 100%. I'm here to defend it. That's why I'm on this show. So, but what gets me animated is when others say, no, Cenk, you are not allowed to have that opinion. I give everybody.
Brother, you can have any opinion you want, but I'm going to call you a shithead if it's a stupid opinion, like trans people are ruining sports or something.
The space to have their own opinion, and I run the network. But Cenk, you, even though you run the network, even if you didn't run the network, you're not allowed to have that opinion because that opinion aids and abets racist, sexist, whatever excuse
Yo, you can have any opinion you want.
we're using, but you're not allowed to have it as an immoral opinion, and you're not. And no,
I
do not agree to that.
I've been an example for the last hour of trying to hear you out on your opinion on
Totally, I agree. She's done a really good job here.
all of this, and I feel like I've gotten, when the converse happens, and I explain that I think that there's a fine line between being anti-establishment and fascistic. There is a fine line between being populist and pro-authoritarian. That so many throughout history, authoritarians, Mussolini, have been massive populists. They were loved and liked so long as certain groups of people weren't included in that populism.
Yep.
And I think there's a better way to do populism. And so here's the question.
Tell me, Franny, what's your genius idea for how to win the vote?
Don't do populism at all, ever. Tell people that there are filthy rich people at the top that are taking advantage of them, and we need to do wealth redistribution. That's obvious. You should say that. Yes, absolutely, of course. But there's a whole big list of things that come along with populism that isn't just that. There's a whole bunch of shit that needs to be dropped immediately.
Voters back without ever talking to them.
Well, here's my genius idea. Let's just say, okay, just imagine you had the biggest YouTube channel for, progressive media.
That's a joke, of course, because he does.
Just imagine you had that, and you had a massive failure in the Democratic establishment. Kamala Harris gets her ass handed to her. Biden didn't drop out.
This is what happened. I mean, Kamala Harris got her ass handed to her.
And people are scrambling. They're running like, rats off a sinking ship from MSNBC, from Pod Save America, and all these Beltway bros that lied to them about the Democratic Party having this in the bag, knowing what they were doing, that never talked about capitalism, that never talked about corporate donors, that never talked about any of that stuff. And I would love, if I had a network, to be the place where people from the center left or liberals, the wicked liberals, to come over and say, hey, let's think systematically about this. Let's think long-term about this. Let's think about political revolution. Let's think about getting serious about the 99% against the 1%. That's what I would do.
That's exactly what I'm doing. So you're welcome. I explained exactly. Hold on, let me answer.
I don't see you doing that.
Well, you're wrong. Again, you're wrong. So I explained how Pod Save America and The View and Morning Joe were so full of crap, pretending that they knew all along that Joe Biden was had trouble. Then why didn't you say?
Okay, this is the problem right here. That he's criticizing the left. Like, what's the word? There's a word. He's criticizing the left. I want to say doggedly, and that's probably right, but it's not the word I was looking for. Vehemently, vociferously, not those. Bitterly, no, not quite. There's a word here I'm thinking of. He's attacking the left in vile ways. Anyway, you get the idea. He's attacking them ridiculously, and he's not doing that to the right. It's one of the big issues.
Say it, you liars. Why did you protect them all along? I ran against Joe Biden. I did a petition against Joe Biden. I said we should do an open primary.
Yes, we know that you attack the left all the time. We know that. Thank you.
My number one motivating factor is to find a populist left figure that wins that 2028 primary. That is the most important thing in the world. And now you've got me scared, Franny, that all of a sudden, like, if the far left peels off and goes and agrees with the establishment and votes with them, I will lose my freaking mind. It will be the greatest betrayal of this movement that I have ever seen. So I am massively against
I don't think you consider
anyone on the left should be massively against the establishment. So what you're using is fear of the right-wing populism going south on us, which is a real fear
going south.
I'm trying to guard against, to say, like, to now all of a sudden, like, well, maybe the establishment's not so bad. No, the establishment's horrible. It's horrible. I'm not going back in that prison. I'd rather be in the populist woods with real human beings fighting and battling and trying to get to the right answer and the right coalitions.
When he's saying this, he says running through the populist woods with other populist figures. What he means is Charlie Kirk and Steve Bannon, he mentioned earlier, and other people like that. KJ Dog Love, Cenk isn't left. I totally agree with you now. I'm really sad to say. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. I think Cenk has walked away from the left entirely at this point. I don't even know why he's pretending anymore.
Than to be in an establishment prison where we're now locked up by Mitch McConnell and goddamn Dick Cheney and Joe Biden and Pelosi, and we're marched back into let it continue the robbery. Thank you, sir, for the robbery. We appreciate your stupid
and the right's
robbery.
not robbing people.
So,
the right doesn't rob people.
So no, but hey, look at that, Franny. Look at what you're saying. I just said 200 times in this interview that Trump's a fake populist. And there's going to be a huge
concretely. I don't know who you're talking about. Concretely,
so you think the right's not going to do it?
No. I'm just like let me just say how I see it. Just you've explained how you see it. So I've been covering Trump since 2016. We covered his rise. One of the big videos we did in AJ Plus was like, why do people like Trump, right? And everyone was like, oh.
AJ Plus, was she a part of Al Jazeera? Is that what she's saying? Interesting.
Oh no, we have to talk about why people like Trump. And it's so obvious. The outsider tells it like it is, very direct,
yes.
Not afraid to upset, the normal establishment order of like, you gotta be a politician, you gotta be this. Of course, there's a million, he's kind of funny. There's a million reasons. Right. And there's a million reasons why people like him. And yet, obviously, there is a massive danger. My brain just made the biggest fart noise on me, and I do not remember exactly what I was saying. But
that's okay. So you remember?
No. Yeah. You're right. You say something.
Yeah. So Franny, look, it's when I talk about people attacking us, I want to be clear about this because it's really important. Yeah.
Okay. Wait. You say it really quickly. Yeah, I remembered. My analysis has always been Donald Trump is a great brand master as an outsider.
Absolutely. He's always been a good brand master. Like, he's always manipulated media, like, expertly.
But he's a Trojan horse. That at the end of the day, even though Mitch McConnell, says his bullshit and whatever, of course he wants all the same things that Donald Trump wants. Trump is a brilliant Trojan horse for, yes, the establishment right. Look at all the neocons he's appointed. I made a joke like, oh, all the cabinet positions are going to be, and yeah, you got a random Kash Patel and whomever, but they're going to be the people commenting on his Truth Social. It's like, nah, he's picking Huckabee. He's picking Marco Rubio. He's got Elise Stefanik. He's all these people who we're going to be at war with Iran within a couple years. I have no doubts about that.
Yep, totally. I absolutely agree. He's picking a ton of establishment people and a ton of nutcases too.
So like, I truly, unless again, his actual base is like, no, including us, like, I just feel like, is that not clear? I thought we were all clear that Trump was literally just a Trojan horse for establishment politics. It's as if Bernie Sanders said all the things and all the right things, but when got into office, Nancy Pelosi's behind the curtain pulling.
And now Cenk is going to reply with, of course, I said he's a fake populist.
The levers. Like, wasn't that just understood that that's who he was?
So no, it's more complicated than that. I agree.
Are you kidding me right now?
With everything you said about Trump and why he got to be popular. He ran as anti-establishment,
right,
as a fake populist, right?
Right.
And so that's what worked really well. Wouldn't it be amazing if we had a real populist on the left and ran on populist left? So I
oh my God.
hope to God we all agree to that in the 2028 primaries. So in terms of the part that I don't quite agree on the Trojan horse, you're right. That's all he's done so far. In the first term, he had 4 freaking years. And his number one and almost only accomplishment was corporate tax cuts. Massive, massive corporate tax cuts. And in fact, on the young
well, I mean, he did some other pretty horrific shit. It wasn't just tax cuts.
Turks, back then I said, watch, the establishment's going to leave him the minute those tax cuts pass. I even named a name. I said Gary Cohn, his national economic advisor. Okay, he's going to leave right after the corporate tax cuts pass because that was the Trojan horse part. So you're right about that, right? But Trump is uncontrollable. So that's why that's why the Mitch McConnell and the establishment fights against Trump during the primaries. They didn't want him because they want people that can be controlled. Trump is uncontrollable both in terrible ways and maybe potentially ways that could be positive. And that is why the establishment is scared to death of him, is because they're like, well, what if he does things that are populist in the right direction? No.
I don't know. You think that's why the left is concerned about Donald Trump, because he might do something that's like good for society? You think that's why? Okay.
Oh, no, right? Now, he hasn't yet, right? So, and the policy that you just mentioned, Franny, that's the one where the rubber hits the road. And so I am so curious what's going to happen. So Israel has absolute power at this point. And they believe, and they're drunk on power because they believe Trump is going to give them everything that they want. And in the beginning, he definitely will. That's why he nominated Team Miriam, as I explained earlier, Stefanik, Rubio, etc. Right? And so those guys will be our neocons. They will push for us to fund Israel's wars from here to eternity. If I am wrong, then there'll never be any pushback from the right-wing populists, the MAGA base, and they'll be like, oh, send all of our money to Israel, start more wars. Maybe we should fight the wars for Israel. And then I'll come on your show and go on the Young Turks and say, guys, I was wrong. No, it turns out the right-wing populists, they weren't anti-war. They were just cultists, right? Or I'll be right, and some portion of that base will go, no, we're sick of funding Israel's wars. Not that they care about Muslims. I mean, Tucker's a good example of it. He turned on the Iraq war a year into the war, and he explained on a radio show, he's like, because they're these Iraqi Arab Muslims are monkeys, and I don't care about them. Yeah. So he doesn't do it with good intent or anything positive in his.
Dude, that's the problem. The people that that Cenk is like lauding and praising for all the stuff they're doing, that's why they're doing it. Because they're quote unquote monkeys and they don't care about them. Do you really? I don't care what you want. Are you willing to, like, show up to an event with these people that call people in the Middle East monkeys and praise them and say they're doing a great thing and that you really like what they're up to and you respect the hell out of the fact that blah, 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 blah. Are you really going to do that? I could not possibly care less what position they take. I will fight for that position on my side. And you fight for it over there. I don't want anything to do with you. Like, that shit's disgusting.
It's hard, but they genuinely want to get the hell out of wars, right?
Yes.
So if
I couldn't possibly care less. Great. They can fight against war over there. Did I not get the Sylph scope? I thought I got the Sylph scope. Well, what do I do next? I fought Giovanni. Do I need to go back to the thing? All right, hang on. Let me get an escape rope and go back.
If I'm right, when Trump pushes too far on Israel, they're going to push back. I think so. That's a great mystery.
I wanted
to with our own eyes.
Yes, and I want to say, for the record, I'm not against. Here's what I'm not against: bringing those people into the fold of a broad progressive coalition that includes everyone. So and does. However, if those folks are also like, yeah, because there's already too many Muslims here, right, guys? That's something that I have a line around. But
there you go.
That's not to say, especially if it's some random uninformed voter who's just like racist by,
Damn, I did not pick up the Sylph scope. That is so stupid.
Just sort of not genetically, but like their dad was a racist, so they are a little bit, whatever.
Heritage, their heritage. They have a heritage of racism, yeah.
Like those people, those people can be worked on. I do think for me, this is what a broad coalition looks like, but there are lines, and that line for me is respecting human rights and civil rights of your fellow Americans, which I think you're trying to get to. But I do want to ask, we all hate Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough, but like in practice,
look at him. He's like smiling. Yeah, we all do hate him.
Is what you're doing that different?
No, it is not.
From like, if you were to get invited to Mar-a-Lago, Cenk, wouldn't you go?
Oh, I would. Absolutely, I would go. 100%. Any reporter would go. I don't think that's the issue. I don't think going is the problem. And even she acknowledges that's not the problem. The problem is praising them and talking about how great they are, how much they've worked with all this shit and everything, and how you want to work with them, and then tearing the left down nonstop.
Oh, I would definitely go. And so Okay, so
to
let's
open lines of discussion?
Yeah, so good question. So let me address it. So Mika and Joe were very clear. They said we went down there because we're scared, and and they wanted to court power and get access again. So to me, what is that about? That's about their ego. That's about their career.
I don't know that that's about their ego and their career. I think that they don't want to be targeted by somebody who's very obviously going to hold power and is deeply disturbing in the things that he says and does. The last time they were targeted by Donald Trump, he claimed that Joe Scarborough was responsible for murdering somebody when he was not. Just think about what could happen. Like, he could open an investigation into Joe Scarborough's life and destroy it. He could destroy it. He could convince people to open an investigation into him, and it wouldn't even be that hard. It wouldn't take much convincing. All Trump would have to do is say, somebody should investigate this on the twit, and next thing you know, there's an investigation open into Joe Scarborough's life, tearing it apart. And who knows, maybe they'll find something that they don't like. This is exactly what they used to do in Germany. They used to target somebody and find something that they did that they shouldn't have done. Everybody has broken the law at some point in their lives. You've jaywalked, you've double parked. There are a billion things that we do every day that violate the law. And if there is like a magnifying glass on you, you're virtually guaranteed to face consequences for basic little things that you do every day, that everybody does every day. So it makes sense to me that Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski would want to court power, quote unquote. I get that. It's real disturbing that Trump won. Real disturbing.
It's about their money, etc. For me, why would I go to Mar-a-Lago? Well, I'm not going to ask for any money. I never do. I don't. That's not what I do.
Nobody thought that.
And I don't care about their positions. I don't want to be in the Trump administration. I don't care about any of that. What do I care about? I care about policy. So I believe that if I'm in a room with Trump, I can convince him on at least one policy. Okay. And I know no one believes that, but just put me in a room with him. Okay. And
I don't think Trump has any policy positions. I think that he is out for Trump. I think he cares about him. And whatever policy positions he wants to move forward with, he'll do it. Whatever benefits him the most, he'll do. I don't even think Trump is anti-abortion. Truthfully, I don't even think he's a Christian. But he pretends to be both because they benefit him, period. And if he's in a situation in which he doesn't think those things are beneficial to him, he just doesn't bring it up.
And I'm not going to walk out of it. And if he says no to the policy, right, then I'm gone. And I gave it my best shot, and it didn't work. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Cenk here, actually. I don't think there's anything wrong with going to Mar-a-Lago.
But at least I tried. At least I tried really hard to move that ship in the right direction. Remember, Trump likes to be popular. So that is a place where you could show him, hey, look at these populist positions, economically populist positions, which are overwhelmingly popular. Do that. So a good example is cut the Pentagon instead of cutting Medicare.
Well, Trump panders to the right because that is his power base, is the far right. He takes right-wing positions because that's what it took to gain power in the first place. The further right he went, the more power he gained, basically. And there is no position too far right for Donald Trump now. He could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue because they're black and nobody would care. Well, his base wouldn't care. However, moving left would lose him votes, I believe. For example, if he came out trans tomorrow, Donald Trump started presenting as a woman, he would absolutely lose everybody and everything, all of it, flush down the toilet. Because ultimately, people are along for the ride with Donald Trump as long as he's going to the right.
Right?
What do you think the probability? I wanted to ask you a question. What do you think under Doge? What is the probability that
you're watching this 5 years in the future? Doge is the Department of Government Efficiency. It's a fictitious, I don't know what it is, the department or like a council or something that works, special council maybe, presidential advisory board that works. It's made up of Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. They work together to investigate things and try to fire people that they don't like and things. Yeah, it was created by Donald Trump. And it was named Doge because of Elon Musk's stupid obsession with cryptocurrency.
That the Pentagon is cut versus what every single Republican ultimately wants, and that's why this guy is their Trojan horse, cutting Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Like, what's the probability they actually cut the Pentagon instead? I'm giving it a 4% chance on Polymarket.
On Polymarket. Oh, fuck. Oh, that's funny because Polymarket was created by Peter Thiel, or he owns part of it or something. I don't know. Peter Thiel is like a right-wing extremist nutcase that is a billionaire. Got rich off of, he was a Facebook stockholder, I think, when it was very young. And then he went on to create Rumble and a bunch of other shit. And he created Polymarket. And Cenk took money from Polymarket as a sponsor. And it's been this big drama thing. Wow, that is a sick burn, actually. It's just this betting platform, right? Where people can bet on election results, for example, and people made a ton of money betting that Trump would win. And people lost a ton of money, too. If there are people winning a lot of money, there are also people losing a lot.
It a 4% chance on Polymarket.
We should do a bet on there.
Let's do a bet.
So, no, I've got it at 20%.
That was a sick burn. So Cenk says it's about 20% chance that Trump is going to do all of the shit that he says he's going to do. Is that right?
So not very high, but higher than what you got it at. 20% that they cut the Pentagon. So 80% that they won't. But now there's a fighter's chance that they do.
No. And even if they do, they're not doing it for the right reasons. They're doing it for corrupt reasons.
In comparison, like they'd rather...
Hold on. What is the chance that they try to cut Medicare or Social Security? 60%. So that's still much more likely, right?
Yes.
And I've started to see and by the way, here's another reason to communicate. I now am seeing right-wing hosts talking about cutting Social Security. So they're coming for Social Security. I see them talking about arresting 2 people. So they, the 2 that they're most obsessed with.
Fauci and Biden, or Hunter? Fauci and Hunter?
Fauci and Liz Cheney.
Yeah.
So that's real. And we got to stop that. I hate Liz Cheney, but you don't arrest her because you don't like her. That's not a thing. And in fact, I had a huge battle with Vinny, who's a right-wing populist that I agree with some issues on, but a huge battle on that on Patrick Bet-David's show last time. I'm like, brother, you need a crime to arrest people. She hurt my feelings is not a crime, right? She disagreed with Trump is not a crime.
I mean,
right?
It is now. I mean, Kash Patel, if you are a journalist or a pundit going on MSNBC and you say something about Kash Patel, he's going to send you a defamation.
Well, Kash Patel is disturbing for a lot of reasons. He was was he previously the leader of the Department of Defense? Is that what it was? I don't remember. He's really high up. Maybe the leader of the Pentagon. And he's a QAnoner. Full-blown. I don't know if he believes it, but he's definitely taking advantage of the movement, for sure. He's like a major QAnon figure. Like as big as Michael Flynn, even bigger.
Letter of defamation, whatever, a threat to sue him. And that's what's happening. I actually, and I do, here's lastly, do you have a second, a little bit more?
Yeah, and I want to say one last thing too, but go ahead, Franny.
Okay, I just want to, because this, I think, was another moment on Patrick Bet-David's show that stung, and I appreciate that you got into it with Vinny. I'm not discrediting that. Again, I'm not saying all of these appearances have been 100% awful. I just feel there have been moments where you throw the left under the bus more than you push back on the right. And
absolutely. There is no doubt about that, of course.
I you might disagree with the characterization. That's how I feel. This part stung for me.
Why do you think they're losing these names?
Yeah, so everything's a little bit different.
And he's talking about like the Tulsi Gabbards and RFK Jr. and why the Democrats have lost those names.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Person's different. So Tulsi, I think, was always secretly a right-winger, but Bobby Kennedy Jr. was not. He was definitely a Democrat.
I agree.
Right? And so he's a decent example. So Bobby has opinions that a lot of people on the left don't agree with, right? To which I say something revolutionary to the left. So what? Okay, he agrees with us on the environment. He agrees with us on housing, on anti-corruption. He doesn't agree with us on vaccines, fluoride, etc., right?
When he said, so what, I got the impression that what he actually meant was, what now? I think that was a linguistic / cultural kind of difference that that exists as a result of Cenk learning English as a second language. I don't think he actually meant so what there, but okay.
Okay, I stopped it there because you talked about, giving him a fair shot in the primaries, which I actually agree with you about. However, I take issue with so what? My daughter's 2. She's going to be going to preschool, then to kindergarten, then obviously in public school. So what for childhood vaccinations is truly whether or not my community and my family are safe or not. Having RFK Jr. as the head of the HHS is wildly dangerous. And it's not a culture war issue, Cenk. I'm not saying he's not right on some things, but again, what's the probability that his HHS is going to do anything to rein in corporate power or regulate, the big R word, regulate any of the ways that they poison us? No, they're not going to do that. What they will do is get rid of any vaccination requirements and just sow even more distrust in what.
Absolutely. But again, I don't think that Cenk is unworried. I think that he just wants to talk about what they should do next.
What has protected millions of people.
Yeah, so it's a fair question because you're misinterpreting what I mean by so what, but not on purpose. It's a miscommunication. So when I say so what, I don't mean, oh, it's no big deal, or that we shouldn't fight him as the head of HHS. I'm against him being the head of HHS. I mean, so what is in, so what? Then let's fight him on those things.
Right. So what happens now? So what do we do next?
Right. So I wish he was the head of HUD, and then I would support him. He is great. He wants to ban private equity from buying residential homes. Great. That's a great policy. Right. But as the head of HHS, I massively disagree with him. And I think that getting rid of vaccines is a very problematic and not a culture war issue. It's very real. That affects people's actual lives. And when vaccines are blocked, there was a story out of Pakistan. They thought it was like an American trick. And then they blocked the polio vaccine and polio spread. And they were like, no, sorry, come back, right? So that's what I mean by so what. So what? Let's fight them on it. Like there's no, see, that's partly what's wrong here, which is that we're thinking of them, us. And so if they're in the them, then we hate everything.
Dude, bro, are you kidding me right now? That is literally what you are doing. That is the problem. The us versus them mentality.
So I don't agree with Bobby Kennedy on vaccines. So let's fight him and show that he's wrong, right?
Sure.
So there's nothing wrong with that.
All right. I'm willing to give you that. As we wrap, I do want to ask, do you think about how what you're doing reflects on TYT as a whole or on individual hosts?
He is TYT. In my opinion, that's how he views it. I am TYT. So I don't care how it reflects on them. It reflects on me the most because it's me. It's all me. That's how I think. That's what I think about it.
At all. I personally feel implicated by a strategy that I do disagree with. Or do you think, well, I'm doing the right thing, so everything I do should reflect beautifully on everyone who works at TYT?
See, this is a way of getting me like saying, Cenk, you're out of bounds. So you're implicating
I'm
me.
not trying. I'm not.
I don't agree with. Well, but
brother, they are part of the network. What do you expect people to do when you come out here spouting off a bunch of MAGA bullshit? What are you expecting from us? I mean, I'm not part of TYT, never been part of it, and I'm proud of that fact. I feel so bad for the people that are part of TYT. Like, oh my God. Now they have to, they are implicated. They have to come out here and argue with it. They have to. Like Francesca, she has to argue with it.
But what am I supposed to do? Not do the strategy I believe in because it might implicate people on the network?
I think I'm asking for empathy.
Stop attacking the left and endorsing the right. That's what I would recommend. Stop doing that.
Empathy. I'm just asking for empathy, Cenk. It's just being a little empathetic.
No, I don't think that's about empathy. I think what you guys are asking for, and this is why I'm not on the far left, is you're saying, since we don't agree with your strategy and your strategy implicates us, if you were empathetic and a good person, you wouldn't do your strategy. And I don't agree. I think my strategy is way better and will protect all of us much better. And so I'm not going to purposely do the wrong strategy because it implicates people on the far left. If you say, hey, I'm so implicated, I'm going to leave. This is unconscionable to me, as some did. Great. I got no problems with it. Everybody makes their own choices, but I'm not pushing anybody out.
I agree with that, actually. I think he's right in doing his strategy the way that he feels he should as like a network owner. I think he's doing fine. I just think he's a scumbag for the things that he's doing. I think the decision is a bad decision. I think that if he came out with like a left-leaning position that like none of the other hosts agreed with, like circumcision is bad, for example, and he had to answer for that, I think he's right to say what he thinks. And the other hosts are right to leave if they're comfortable with that, or to defend their position in disagreeing with him or whatever. I mean, I don't have a problem with that, really. I have a problem with Cenk attacking the left and endorsing the right nonstop. That's my issue right there. That's interesting. That was an interesting conversation, right? Yeah, give me your thoughts.